Hey, everybody, we're going to get started shortly. Make sure if you're new here to introduce yourself in the chat. We're really excited to do some of the school shout outs. We see more Compton, Drew, and Eagle Prep families popping in as we speak. So we're going to get started shortly. All right, everyone, we're going to be getting started here shortly. We're going to give people a couple more minutes to join us. We're super excited for everyone who was on time. Yay. Make sure you introduce yourself in the chat. Very excited to have you all here. We see someone from KIP just popped in. How are you doing today? Again, we have families from KIP, Gateway, Eagle College Prep, Compton Drew. Super excited for everyone here.
We got Metro in the building too.
All right, everyone. Thank you guys for being here today. My name is Anastasia, and I am the Executive Director for Navigate STL Schools. We are a local nonprofit dedicated to ensuring that all kids in St. Louis can find a school that's going to enable them to be successful. So what does that even mean? We know that all kids learn in different ways and they need different support. So by using our website, navigatestlschools.org, you can learn facts about each school building and the community in the city to see which one has the things that you're going to need and want. We're really excited to be able to support you all on this next step in your journey. We have lots of tools and can give you pretty much all the information you need to take on the world. And we're really excited to be here to support you all. Amehi?
Welcome, everyone. My name is Mehi Brown, and I serve as the recruiting coordinator at College Bound St. Louis. College Bound is a college access and success program. We want to help you get ready for college, get into college, pay for college, and be successful in college once you get there. Students join the program their freshman year of high school and stay with us until they graduate from college. We hope that many of you will apply for our program once you join high school. In the meantime, you can learn more by visiting our website at www.collegeboundstl.org.
All right, so we are your co-hosts, Anastasia and Amehi, and we're here today to discuss navigating high school for the college bound. So what does that even mean? It means that we're gonna help you prepare for college now. Something that a lot of you may not know is that all 4 years of high school are actually really important when it comes to preparing for college, and not just your junior and senior year. There are things that you can be doing early that will be helpful in setting you up for a great future. As early as junior high, you can start looking into class schedules, mentorships, extracurricular activities, and we're here today to give you some tips and tricks to navigate that space. We're calling those our straight A's: academics, access, and advocacy. We have presenters from high schools and colleges all across the states here today to give you helpful information. But this is just the introduction. When you're done here, you're going to be able to have staff members from Navigate STL Schools as well as College Bound that are going to support you and check on your progress year round. During today's session, we'll be doing some interactive quizzes and raffles. We're giving away swag bags and $50 and $100 Amazon gift cards. And we're going to get started now. So my first question to everyone. So be sure to type in the chat your answer, as well as your name and the school that you attend. Is it true? Oh, wait. All right, so to be clear, the first person that gets the answer correct is the one that's gonna win. Is it true that colleges only look at your junior year grades when considering your admissions? So type your answers in the chat. Ooh, first up, we have Juanita from the Phillips household, and she said it is not true. And that is correct. We also followed in with Sharice and Austin, who are also correct. Awesome. So thank you guys for participating. I'm going to ask another question because we have a couple of things that we can raffle off. Our next question. What types of things do College Bound help students learn about, or does? I think that's the right verb. What type of things does College Bound help students with?
Preparing for college, advocacy, academics, and I mean, you're not wrong. We do help with that, college courses. Okay. Miss Juanita she's on fire right now. She has it going. Classes, interests, okay. All right. So during our first session, we will be discussing our first of 3 A's, academics. How do you pick a high school with so many choices in school types? How do you know if school has a rigorous curriculum? How do you dual enroll? What are AP classes? How do you even learn how to study? I'll be honest, no one really helped me with all that, and I struggled with it because of it during my first year of college. My friends and I were very frustrated because we had first gotten our first progress grades back. They weren't really the best. My mom honestly probably would have grounded me at the moment. We realized that we weren't really paired as much academically as we thought we were, despite all our academic success in high school. So what we've done is we've gathered 3 experts here today to help give you some tips to help you avoid our mistakes. We have Miss Amber Mitchell from Rinder High School, Sierra Sergeant with College Bound, and we have Miss Myra Garcia Hernandez with Navigate STL Schools.
Awesome. So we're going to get started with a video from Miss Amber Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Amber Mitchell, and today I'm going to present to you all about claiming your place in academia. To talk a little bit about me, again, my name is Amber Mitchell, and I am currently a college and career counselor at Brittner High School here in St. Louis, Missouri. I have a master's degree in secondary counseling, as well as a master's degree in higher adult education. I have 14 years of higher education experience, so I've worked in a higher ed setting. I also have 16 years experience with providing college access services to underrepresented and first generation students and families in grades 6 through 12. Today, we're going to talk about academic rigor and what colleges look for, how to select your high school courses that will impress college admission counselors, and basic high school academic terms that will be very important to know as you go through your high school journey and how these terms have an impact on college admissions and scholarships. So, starting with academic rigor. So, the first question I always get is, well, what exactly is academic rigor? And simply put, rigor is the academic or intellectual challenge of a class. The more difficult the class, the more rigorous it is. And so, in essence, a rigorous class prepares the student by teaching them and honestly, and having them to exercise skills useful in school, world, and in life in general. So, why is it important? Well, colleges are not impressed with the bare minimum. The average does not wow them. So they see it constantly. And so they're looking for students who will show that they go above and beyond. And so that is where academic rigor comes in. They want to see the student pushing themselves. They want to see you stepping out of your comfort zone and working hard to accomplish good grades. And college coursework will be more difficult and really a lot more demanding than high school. So, proving that you can handle tougher material ensures colleges that you will work just as hard while attending classes at their institution. So, what kind of classes are considered rigorous? There are several types. One is advanced placement, commonly known as AP courses. And so AP classes are perhaps the most well known source of rigor. AP takes the material and requirements up a few notches from the standard core classes. Um, with AP classes, students learn more, produce research based projects. They do a lot more reading in depth, and they take harder tests. And it is a great example of what rigor looks like. Another example of rigor is dual credit and dual enrollment courses. So, dual enrollment courses, or we call dual credit, which is basically just saying a way of earning credit for both high school and college at the same time, which is where the dual credit, dual enrollment comes in. So dual credit is where a student will earn this college credit while at the high school. So the class is taught by a high school teacher, but a student will earn both high school credit and college credit for the class. And dual enrollment is where a student is dual enrolled. And so they are enrolled as a high school student and they are enrolled as a college student. So they're taking college level classes, typically on a college campus, and are earning both high school credit and college credit for those classes. And so these college level courses, which again translate into college credit hours upon completion of the class, this shows great rigor because it shows that you are able to do college level work. And it also allows you to earn college credit early while in high school, which saves you money. So it's a win-win. Another source of rigor is what we call international baccalaureate or IB classes. And so international baccalaureate classes are becoming increasingly popular in America. There are varying levels of these classes that are available in high school, but all of them require a test and a certificate. And these classes take a different approach to standardized learning and allows the students to really think critically. And so this allows them to show that high level of rigor. So now that you know all the different kinds of rigorous classes, the question I often get is, well, how do I choose which class to take? And so the best answer I can give you is to talk to your high school counselor. Your high school counselor has a breadth of knowledge about the different types of classes, but what they will do is talk to you and find out what your goals are, career wise or college wise, and then they're able to help you navigate which classes will be best for you. And so they really help you to create this plan um, that allows you to open up new options or solidify your plans. And it's a lot easier to tackle than to do it by yourself. So I encourage everyone who's interested in taking rigorous classes that you talk to your high school counselor and plan that out with them so you or know that you are doing what is best for you. And so the other question that I often get is it more rigorous to take many classes or harder ones? Um, and the answer to that is really like extracurricular activities. Um, Colleges prefer to see a dedication to a few rather than dabbling in many. So essentially, they'd rather see you take a few more challenging classes than a variety of more standard ones. So if you can, focus on the area you're interested in studying in college and take those classes that are really in that pathway. And so, how much is too much? And I get this a lot with my students. I have students who are very ambitious and they want to take all the classes that our school has to offer. However, while rigor is important and it's important to challenge yourself, it's also important not to bite off more than you can chew. Loading up too many AP classes or dual credit classes or dual enrollment classes or IB classes doesn't really show a high level of rigor. It really shows poor planning. And so ideally, you really want to try to aim for taking 2 or 3 of these rigorous classes per year. Spreading them out really allows you to challenge yourself, but it also makes it more manageable. So make sure you are adhering to that. The next thing I really want to talk about is selecting your high school courses. And so, first and foremost, we want to take the correct level of classes so that you will be challenged and successful at the same time. College admissions pay close attention to students' grades because it tells them if a student is more likely to be successful in college. Thus, it's important to take the most challenging classes that you can handle and the subjects that interest you the most so that you will get a good grade. So if you are stronger in math, take honor classes or rigorous classes in math. Or if you're stronger in history, don't be afraid to try that honors or AP history class or that IB history class. Secondly, you want to elevate your course difficulty each year. So step your game up and challenge yourself each year. For example, if during your freshman year you took one honors class, um, your sophomore year, try taking two. And so you want to challenge yourself year to year. But I would still recommend that you do not exceed taking more than three challenging classes a year, especially during your junior and senior level. So make sure you're still following in that guideline. You also want to make sure that you focus on subjects that interest you. Too many students are worried about selecting classes that might impress colleges. However, one of the most important aspects of high school is to develop yourself as a person. And the reality is that most college admission officers would prefer that you take classes, join clubs, and participate in activities that give a greater insight into who you are as a person. So take classes and participate in activities that show your interest. Also complete your requirements. Most colleges, I'll back up. It is really important to take classes that interest you while also making sure that you are fulfilling the necessary requirements. And high schools have a minimum amount of classes that you must take in each core subject to graduate. And especially if you are applying to colleges, they typically have a higher standard. So they have their own um, core classes that they're looking for their institution. So most colleges require that you take core about 4 years of English, 3 to 4 years of math, 3 to 4 years of science, and a minimum of 2 years of a foreign language in the same language. So it is important that you're making sure that you are getting the classes that your institution is wants you to have in order to get into their college. And so just make sure you're keeping adhering to that. And then continue to work hard during your senior year. Senior year matters really a lot more than you think. Colleges are looking for students who are still engaged in the learning process. Therefore, admission counselors do not want you to take a break from learning or to coast through your senior year. In fact, it really is just the opposite. They want to see that you're still challenging yourself even during your senior year. So, as a result, many colleges will ask for your senior year's first semester grades prior to deciding on your admittance, just to seeing that you're still challenging yourself in that area. And I wanted to end today with making sure that students and parents understand some basic high school academic terms that will be very important to know as they go through their high school journey. And these terms really do have an impact on college admissions and scholarships, starting with understanding your GPA. And so GPA is grade point average. And it really is just the average of the quality points earned based on your final grades at the end of each semester. And so there really are what I call three different types of GPAs. You have your current GPA, which is that a snapshot of that GPA for just that semester. You have your cumulative GPA, which is your grade point average for all of your classes starting your ninth grade year all the way up to your 12th grade year. So any class that you take in your high school experience will be on your transcript and it will be a part of your cumulative GPA. And your weighted GPA is for those rigorous classes that you have, such as your AP classes, or even sometimes your dual credit or dual enrollment classes. Those will be weighted to show that because they're more demanding than the average class, so that your GPA will require a heavier weight. Usually, most grade points for an A for a standard class is 4 quality points, but for a weighted class, it would be 5 quality points. So you get a little more oomph in your GPA. It's important to note that failed classes can drastically drop your GPA, and it is hard to raise your GPA from a failed grade. So please make sure you are getting good grades. And many academic-based scholarships, which is free money for college, really look at a student's GPA. So they really look at, they have a standard. Most scholarships require at least a 3.0 GPA for their scholarships. So you want to make sure that you're remaining competitive. And students can improve their GPA by one, making better grades, and then taking advantage of their advanced courses such as honors or advanced placement or IB or dual enrollment or dual credit classes. And I really get the question a lot of how do students calculate their GPA to know their average grade for each class. And it's the quality points, the total of quality points you have in a class divided by the number of classes that you're taking. So that's how you determine your GPA. Transcript. Your high school transcript is a complete record of your academic achievements in high school. So it starts with the first semester of your first year of high school and is updated each semester up until you graduate. The format really varies from school to school, but most transcripts will include the courses that you have taken and the year that you've taken them, your grades for each semester, both passing and failing, the weight of each grade. So grades in higher level courses like AP are often worth a lot more, like we talked about. The number of credits you've earned for each course, your cumulative GPA, your scores on your AP exams, your ACT, the SAT, or any other standardized test, and your rank. And so high school transcripts are really necessary for college acceptance. And so colleges look at these transcripts because it gives them an overview of your academic performance and tells them helps them really to decide if you are ready for college level work and whether they will admit you or not. So it's a really, really important document that you want to make sure that you're starting off strong and continuing to remain strong all the way to the end. Last thing is your rank. And so some schools rank their students, and this rank is really based on their GPA in comparison to other students' GPA in that same grade. And so in high schools, most students strive to be in the top of their class based on that academic rate. And really driven students really strive for that number one spot, which is called the valedictorian. Colleges and academic-based scholarships look for students that are typically in the top 1 to 10% of their class. And so the higher the rank, the better the consideration for these scholarships and college admission. So it really, really looks good to be in that top rank. And again, the higher your GPA, the higher you are in that rank. So as you can see, it kind of all ties together. And so all of these things combined will paint a very nice and competitive picture for you as you are applying for colleges and for scholarships. And so I know I went very quickly over that. So if you have any questions for me, please feel free to contact me. I have my school email, my school phone number there, as well as my email. And I typically do respond back to all emails within 24 hours that it was given. It has been a pleasure with you all, spending time with you all this afternoon. And I hope that this has been informative to you. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. And I look forward to talking with you all. Have a great afternoon.
Oh my gosh, Amber gave so much information. I hope everyone was paying attention. Lots of great information on making sure that the high school that you're selecting has the right types of courses available for the colleges that you want to attend. But I do want to note, she mentioned you need 4 years of a foreign language. I took 4 years of Spanish, and the only thing that I know are the lyrics to Guantanamero and La Bamba. So pay more attention than I did in school. We are going to transition to our next presenter, Ms. Myra Garcia Hernandez.
Hi, everybody. My name is Myra, and I work at Navigate STL Schools. I'm the Director of Family and School Support. I am going to be sharing my screen with you and talking to you a little bit about what it means to choose a high school, and given what Miss Amber Mitchell talked about. So for example, it can be really intimidating to even decide what school you want to go to, especially if you're a city resident and you have so many options, right? Like, where do I start? How do I start? Well, the good news is that you're in a great place because you're here and you're getting all this information. And the most important thing to remember really is that you and your family are the experts and that you have everything you need to make a good decision. And so I want to show you our website because it can help you compare your options, look at data about the schools, and really figure out like, what are some of that data that Ms. Mitchell talked about? For example, course selection, whether or not the school has AP classes, and other factors that might play into your decision. So if you go to navigate.stlschools.org, that is our website, and we have 109 schools. So on the school search filter, we can help you in person or virtually, like personally in an appointment, but you can also just use our website on your own. And so as you see, we don't necessarily rank the schools, so we don't do any of that, but we do compare schools with the data given. So we get data from DESE, the Department of Education, and that is how you can use data to make that decision for yourself. So let's dive right in. We are looking for high schools, so I'm going to click 9th grade. And I want to show you a few things though. When I click 9th grade, I get 22 schools. That could still be a lot. And so wanting to say that you can filter based off of what you think is important, what you might be looking for. And so that might be the type of school it is. So in the city, remembering we have the traditional public, the charter public, the magnet school choice options, as well as the private independent options. And so depending on what you're looking for, you can click those however you want. Whether or not there's after school programs, transportation, costs, there's so many things that you can filter through. But today, since Ms. Mitchell said that AP is a good example of rigor, I'm gonna go ahead and just click that one. And so again, just wanting to point out that there is several ways that you can also filter things out. So safety and climate, student learning, and I'm going to go ahead and show you an example of what a school looks like here in a second. Whether or not the school has a counselor or a nurse or a social worker. And so thinking through who are those people in the building that are going to support you in getting ready for college or other program, right? Activities. So I have 11 schools. I'm going to go ahead and just click on it and see what we get. So we have 11 schools here, and they're all, well, 10 of them show up on the first page. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on this first one, Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. And so you can see right here that it tells us that it's part of the magnet school program. Now, all of our school profiles look very similar, which means that it has certain data available. And at Navigate STL Schools, we just say that parents and students know what's best for them and have an idea what they're looking for. So you use that information how you want to, depending on what you're looking for. So we have our COVID contingency plan. We have very logistical information, but sometimes that's important even when making your decision. For example, the 7 o'clock time is super early, but some schools start at 8. And so depending on what you're looking for, that might be an interesting data point. Whether or not they have transportation, cost. So here you see this school is free to attend because it's part of the magnet choice program. And then we have a little bit of information about this school. And again, just wanting to point out that we have all of this information for all of the schools that are on our website. I'll just point out here, for example, we have the percentage of teachers that returned from last year. So that might be important as you're thinking through, do teachers like to work there? Do they come back? Again, that is like all the data that you use, that's your family's choice. You see that they do have a counselor, so that person might be the person that you ask for advice, talk about course selection, all of that stuff. We have information directly from DESE about student diversity. So we have a breakdown of the students that attend this school. And then I really want to focus on student learning because in our previous presenter said that it's super important that, you have classes that might prepare you for college, thinking about AP, all of that kind of stuff. And we have data available that might help you make your decision. So similar to middle school, when you take the MAP test, in high school, you're going to take your EOCs or the end of course exams. And every year that data is reported to DESE, but not in 2020 because of the pandemic. But we have the most recent information up. And so you can see you'll have to take your English EOC, a math EOC, and then a science EOC. And our website shows the scores, the most recent scores for each school. But I should say all of the public and then traditional public and then the charter public. And the reason I'm not saying private is because private schools do not report to the state, and so they don't have EOC scores up. But that doesn't mean that they don't measure the growth of their students. You would just have to ask that school if you're interested. So in this case, it looks like 50% of the students that go to this school either get a proficient or advanced on the English EOC, and then compared to the city average of 23%. And we have this information for all three of those tests. And if you click right here where it says show demographics, you can even get the breakdown by racial identity of the students and see how they're doing. So there's a lot of data on our website, and you are welcome to use that in however way you want, depending on what you're looking for and what high school you're looking for, essentially. Let's talk about the advanced placement. So it could be a good sign of rigor if they have AP classes. And at this school, they have 27.6% enrolled in an AP class, which compared to the city average is a 2.4. Then how many are scoring high enough to get college credit? Close to 8%, which is right on par with the city average. Other data points that might be interesting to you are graduation rates. And again, you can break it down by demographics, ACT participation, and results. So you can see here that their average ACT score at this school is a 17, and that's very on par with the city average. And then lastly, enrollment in college. So they have about I would say 78% of the students that go to this school end up enrolling in college, and that's a little bit higher than average compared to the city. So we have a bunch of data, but I just want to reiterate, you don't have to do this alone. We offer free, essentially, appointments, consultations, where we will listen to you, say, okay, ask you questions. We'll talk about your priorities, what you're looking for, and then help you understand your options and go through the website and talk about some of these data points. We also have a lot of information about safety and climate, attendance, bullying, discipline, as well as teacher experience at each school. And then I want to touch base on this part, because also what we just heard is that it's important to also decide what you're interested in and figure out what kind of course offerings the school has. And so you can see some of those things on our website. For example, what type of music classes they have, or other kinds of art, visual and performing art classes. And then you do need at least 2 years of a foreign language, and this school has Spanish. So it doesn't look like it has any other options, but it does have Spanish. And then it does have AP classes. And then outside of class, it's also super important to think about what things you're interested in and what kinds of extracurricular opportunities they have. And so you'll see here what they have to offer. And then now you're probably thinking, well, if I'm only in 7th grade, what does that mean? Or if I'm in 8th grade, what does that mean, right? And so on our website, we also have enrollment data. So what do you need to get in? For example, this school, it's a visual and performing arts school, and so they require an audition, and that might be important for you to know, as well as the application deadline. So just keeping in mind currently, if I'm looking at this now, and I'm a 7th grader thinking through, okay, so the application deadline was in November. So as you get ready to go to 8th grade, that's something to be in the back of your head saying, okay, I think I need to then kind of set up my application in the fall of 8th grade so that I'm ready and I don't miss the deadline. So all of this information is on here for many, many schools. And just wanting to point out one more thing that might help you make your decision or help you kind of brainstorm on what you're looking for. And that's on our resources tab. If you go to high school, and all the way at the bottom, we have a resource kit and also a toolkit. And all of these are available to download, and you can complete them by yourself or with your family. So if I open this one, for example, it's saying, okay, how am I even going to go about choosing a school, right? There's so many options. There's so many things to consider. What kind of classes do they have? How do they prepare you for college or post-secondary option, right? Sometimes we might go into a trade or want to do something else. And depending on what you're looking for, these questions are going to matter. And so we've created resources to help you and your family start thinking about that. And even if you live in the county, for example, and already know what high school you're going to, you might want to look at this just to be like, well, what should I get out of high school? What do I want to get out of high school? So again, saying here, we have brainstormed several questions that you might consider about the school culture, about extracurricular activities, and all of that. So you are not alone, is all I want to say. That at Navigate STL Schools, that is what we do. We help families understand their school options. We help them brainstorm and help them walk through the data. You can visit us once, you can visit us more than one time, all for free. Yeah, so we're here, anything that you need. I think Chris is gonna put the link in the chat. There's so many things to consider, but just know that you are in the right place, that you're here, and that you're already off to a good start.
Thank you, Myra. You did an amazing job. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time for
A raffle.
bum, bum, bum. So, today's question.
All right,
Yes.
you ready? What types of information can you do an advanced search for on navigatestlschools.org? If you know the answer, drop it in the chat.
Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat.
We'll give you a hint. Myra touched on it, but so did our first video speaker.
Before and after school program, students, courses, and average scores.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Salita. Awesome. If you could send in your address and email address, your mailing address, as well as your email address, we will get you set up for your prize. All right, we're going to go to our last speaker for this session. All righty. That is Sierra with College Bound.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? I know it's weird to kind of be in this virtual setting, so I can't hear you, and I thrive off energy. So let me see some energy happening in the chat. If you're feeling good this afternoon, drop your favorite color in the chat. Pink, okay, blue, purple. I know there's some more people on here. Don't leave me out here by myself, folks. Awesome. So for this section, we're going to wrap up the academics by talking a little bit about study skills, transferable skills, and also building your network when you get off to college, to high school. You can also do that right now. So when we first talk about study skills, the key and the first thing is believing that you can. So as it relates to academics, there are a lot of myths. People think that intelligence is baked, right? If I am not good at a thing, I'll never be good at that thing. When in reality, as humans and as individuals, we learn and grow every single day. Through this pandemic alone, I have learned and grown so much as it relates to all of this cool technology and different ways to connect and be able to still see students. And so that has been exciting for me. And as you're thinking about how you move into high school, the first thing is believing that you can. So if you haven't had the best of luck, let's say in math, with your math classes in the past, you can't go into high school with the mindset or the assumption that you're just bad at math. You know, you'll never get math. The key is truly believing that you can. After you move past that mental roadblock, next you want to show up. And so when we show up, that is physically, so coming to school is a really key portion of having great study skills. When you show up, you also want to make sure that you're in class and that you're there on time and you're prepared. Like we said earlier today, we hope that you have your pen and paper, as all of our industry experts will be dropping some great gems about how to thrive currently and also how to get prepared when you get to high school to navigate it in preparation for college. So when you go to class, you want to come prepared with the things that you need for class. So if you are taking notes, you need a notebook, you need a pen. If there's a textbook for that course, you bring that textbook with you. Showing up is very important. Let's say my car needs an oil change, right? And I walk to the car shop without my car. Am I able to get an oil change if I don't even have the car with me? You know, having the necessary tools, being prepared is key to be able to do anything that you need to do. Next, the thing I want to touch on is just there are different ways that people learn. One thing that people assume is that there's a one way and a right way to study or to do study skills. And that just simply isn't true. We all learn very differently. And so I want to touch on the 3 types of learning strategies. So the first is auditory. So an auditory learner is a learner that learns by hearing and listening. So you remember and understand things that you've heard. All right, I need some more energy. So drop in the chat a song that you know all of the lyrics to. You don't need to look it up. You don't need the lyrics on your phone. You know all the lyrics to this song. Ooh, that's a good one. Lost Ones. I know y'all be in the car listening and jamming to your music. Okay, awesome. So if you are an auditory learner and you understand and remember things by listening, when you know that about yourself, then you can change and adjust. Ooh, end of the road. You can change and adjust the way that you are studying. So 3 kind of strategies that an auditory learner can try out is reading aloud. So instead of reading silently or reading to yourself, if you can find a space that you can read out loud and read the text out loud, that way you can hear it. That is a strategy to improve your learning. In a classroom, you can just sit where you can hear. Where you sit and placement in terms of the classroom really does matter. Sometimes schools and classrooms have assigned seating, and so you don't have that piece, but we will encourage you to advocate for yourself, and we'll get to that A later. So sit where you can hear best in the classroom. And then the last one, and I've done this in different parts of my academic career, is make a song out of the information. Sometimes if the information is not the most exciting or something I just feel like I'm not catching, you can make a song to the information. As I have a 2-year-old, they have a lot of songs that are geared towards learning. There's a lot of songs that they take Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, and they change the words to get different information and processes, because that is a strategy for learning. The second one is visual. So for visual learners, you learn by reading or seeing pictures. All right, so I think this will speak to you guys, students. What is your favorite YouTuber or Twitcher? Drop that in the chat for me. Who are you guys watching on YouTube or Twitch? And if it's not one particular person, what type of tutorials or videos are you watching? Okay, Alpha Rad. Awesome. Any more? Any more? So, cooking and grilling with AB. Nice. Okay. I see some really awesome ones there. I might have to jot those down after this is all over and check them out. So as a visual learner, you learn by reading and seeing pictures. And so once you know that about yourself, you can then try out some different ways to study differently. You can try flashcards. You can write things down. So as you're in class and you're getting the information and you're listening, you can write that information down so that you have it to visually look at later. The third and the last learning strategy is tactile learning. So if you are a tactile learner, you learn by touching and doing. So if you're a tactile learner, you learn best by participating in activities that involve using your hands, that involve touching and moving things. And so one strategy for a tactile learner is drawing. So being able to pick up a pencil and visually draw out that information and the concept that you're looking at. Next, we're going to move on to transferable skills. So one thing that colleges are going to look for is for you to be well-rounded and for you to have some skills. And one thing that I hear all the time for high school students, from college students, even sometimes from new professionals in the workforce, is that I don't have any skills. I haven't done this or that, and so I am not there. And what we want to encourage you to do is think about the things that you do, the things that you participate in. On the Navigate STL Schools website, under each school, it shows you the different activities that are offered at that school. If you're into sports and you play on a sports team, maybe you're the captain of that team. You have some leadership skills that you're able to transfer over. If you're the class treasurer, you have some leadership skills that you're able to transfer over. And for those that are out there thinking, I'm not athletic, I really don't even have time to take up an activity or sport or something at school, then a great place is thinking about what are the things that you do already. And so maybe you babysit and you watch your younger siblings or your younger cousins or family members. And if you are like me, I am the oldest of 4. And so as a high school student, as a middle school student, you breaking up fights between your younger siblings or cousins, that's conflict resolution. That is a transferable skill. So we want to encourage you to think very critically and differently about the things that you're doing. And also, as you're moving into high school, think about the things that you can take part of. What activities can you join and increase those skills? Lastly, when you join those different activities, whether that's at school or out in the community, that helps build your network, that helps build your community. So those folks that you build relationships with by being in those different activities, coaches, team members, your teachers, sponsors. Those become your network and the folks that you can rely on and you can reach back to. For colleges, colleges will ask for, or even scholarships may ask for a letter of recommendation. And a lot of students kind of get froze in that moment. And they're like, who would I ask for a letter of recommendation? And what you want to do is look back at your network. Look at those coaches, look at those teachers, those folks that you've built relationships with that know you well, so that they can speak on your behalf about how awesome you are and let the college or the scholarship know those different cool things about you. All right, I'm gonna pause there and see if anybody has any questions in the chat. All right, if you have no questions, that's fine. Feel free to continue. If you think of them later, drop them in the chat. We want to make sure that this is a space that you feel great and good and engaging. Can we get our students enrolled in College Bound? That's a great question, and we're going to hit that when we get to access later in the day. So we're going to hold you out there just to make sure you stick with us for the rest of the day here. All right, back over to our amazing co-host.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sierra. All righty. So we are actually going to go into an intermission. Our first intermission is actually where we're raffling off a $50 Amazon gift card. If you guys don't want it, trust me, my card is popping, so I will take it. But our first question for this: what grade do you have to be in to apply to College Bound? The first person who dropped, Juanita, there we go. All right, Miss Juanita, we'll be emailing you that virtual gift card. We're gonna take a quick 5-minute intermission and we'll be back. Actually, we're just gonna shorten it so we can let you guys enjoy this beautiful weather. We'll be back at 1:05. While we're waiting, guys, if you don't mind, share about this event on your Facebooks and Instagrams. We're going live on the navigatestlschools.com Facebook, so they can tune in there. All right, guys, we are back. Our next straight A is advocacy. How do you make sure you're getting everything that you need from the process? How do you overcome challenges to build a support system? Who are your allies in this process? And how do you maximize your resources? Self-advocacy will be one of the most important steps that you take on this journey to young adulthood. And it starts in high school with your academic counselors. Our next three presenters will be sharing some tips to empower you as we figure out how to make the schools that you're in work for you. Ms. Ebony Ramsey is up first.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you all are doing wonderful. I was kind of peeking in on the last session and listening in. So thanks to Sierra and I believe it's Myra. They had some really good information to share. So I don't have long, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen so that you can see what I have here. I'm gonna get in presentation mode. All right, hopefully everybody can see my screen. All right. Wonderful. So I don't have long, so I'm going to just give you all some quick tips about kind of this navigation between college or high school to college. I want to tell you a little bit about myself first in case you have questions for me at the end. And because we don't have long, I'll give you my contact information so that you can follow up with me. So I'm originally from Kansas City, Missouri. Right now, living in St. Louis, Missouri. I work at Maryville University, and I'm the assistant dean of students there. And I use she, her pronouns. I meant to say that in my introduction. I graduated undergrad from UNC Charlotte. So that's right here. If you see my cursor on your screen, undergrad, I have an undergrad degree in theater and mass communications. I got my master's degree at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. You might know us as the Aggies. We are the #1 HBCU for producing African-American engineers in the world. You can see I'm proud of that. And right now I am finishing up my career, my overall education career by getting my PhD at Colorado State University, which is in Fort Collins, Colorado. And I will be defending my dissertation in September. So I'm super excited about that. So we can talk about me a little bit later, but I've worked at 5 different historically Black colleges and universities, and this is my 4th predominantly white institution that I'm working at right now in St. Louis. So happy to share with you some of my knowledge today, just about this transition going from high school to college. Now, I'm a first generation student, and so I'm going to talk to the students today, but I'm also talking to the parents today, meaning that when I say I'm first generation, meaning that before going to college, my parents had not attended college. And actually, my mom and I share graduation years because my mom ended up graduating about a month before I graduated from college, which was a really cool experience for me. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips and things that I've learned along the way that I wish that my family and I wish that somebody would have told me when I was, coming and I was your age, when I was in high school. I wish somebody would have told me these things. Okay. So real quick, fast and dirty, we're going to start with tip number 1. I'm going to tell you to choose wisely. One of the things that I wished when I was in high school that someone helped me out with was choosing the appropriate school to go to. I think nowadays when you're in high school, you have so many resources, so many things. And, when I was in high school, the internet and the World Wide Web was just starting to become a thing. It was just starting to become popular. People were just starting to actually utilize this as a tool. So now that you have the World Wide Web at your fingertips, you have so many choices and they're coming at you with so many enticing benefits for going to their college. So there's, you can choose a college based off of your major. You can choose a college based off of the cost, proximity to home, all of those things come into play. But you want to include your parents in that choice. You want to make sure that when you are talking with your parents and you're making those decisions, that you're having a conversation with them so that they are understanding what are your wants, what are your needs, what is the major that you're thinking about what you want to do with the rest of your life. All of those things come into play when you're making a choice for college. Do you want to be far away from home, or do you want to be closer to home? Is cost a factor? What about financial aid? All of those things come into play when you're making a good decision. So you don't want to make that decision by yourself. You want to make sure that you're making a decision that includes your parents, that includes people that care about you, even if it's your guardian, anyone that's going to be your support system. You want to include them in on this decision because it's a large decision, and it can make or break you for the rest of your college career. So you want to make sure that you're not just choosing a school based off of, surface level things like, oh, I like this school because of its reputation, or I think I like this school because I like the colors. You want to dig a little deeper. You want to ask questions like, well, what are the graduates of your university doing when they get a computer science degree? Or if, you heard me mention earlier that, North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University, we are the #1 producers for African-American engineers. Well, if you're interested in engineering, you should know what schools have the top producers or are producing the top talent in that area, because you want to go and align yourself to a place that matches with what you need. So all of those things come into play when you're talking about college choice. So you want to think about, what are your needs? What is your financial viability? So what could you actually afford, and what could your family afford? And then what are the things that are most important to you? Would you be sad if you're far away from home, or would you be happier if you're far away from home? So those are some of the things that I want you to think about when you're talking about choosing a campus. Second tip that I think is super, super important, and I talk about this all the time. College is not 13th grade, all right? So you're in high school right now. It could be a vigorous year for you. It could be an easier year for you, wherever you land on the academic spectrum, right? I don't want you to look at going to college as that you're just continuing with that same energy that you're leaving from high school. We got a different energy on a college campus. One, there are so many things to do, and your time is different. So, in high school, your time is kind of dictated, by a little bit on your own, but it is dictated by your family, the things that are going on around your household. When you get to college, you have a lot more free time. You have a lot more autonomy and choice around what you want to do with your time. So I heard Myra say this earlier. I heard Sierra say this earlier, talking about making sure that you prepare for the academic rigor. So they were talking about making sure you have the right tools. You're coming to class. You're prepared to learn. I always tell students, you sit at the front of the classroom. Don't sit at the back, because you're now going to be one of many versus, in your small community where you grew up, in your high school where everyone knows your name and you might be that bright star at your high school. Well, now you are at a university of a million bright stars. And so how are you standing out? How are you making your mark? And how are you making sure that you're looking out for your greater good? There's a lot of time management that comes along with college. So you want to think about that. You may have a class at 9 a.m. and then you might not have another class until 4 p.m. So what do you do with that time in between 10 o'clock and 4 o'clock when you have a class? Do you go back to your room and go to sleep, or do you go work out, or do you go study? All of those things come into play when you're talking about making sure that this isn't 13th grade. And the advice that I give to students is that you want to take vitamins versus taking medicine. And when I say that, I mean that you want to make sure that you're always thinking in a proactive way and not in a reactive way. So vitamins are much easier to take than having to take some medicine at the end. So you always want to try to be proactive. What are things that you can do to stay ahead of the game? And so there's a lot of resources that we have on college campuses that help you with this. So don't feel overwhelmed by some of the things I'm talking about, but I want to get your mind right in thinking about it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. All right. So tip number 3, I said 2, but I meant 3. I'm talking to the parents and I'm talking to the students here. Be prepared for the real world. As you can see, just with this past year of racial injustices, natural disasters, there are so many things that are happening in our world it's totally different from even when I was in college. And so you want to make sure that your student is prepared for the real world. Have talks with them about drugs, have talks with them about alcohol, have talks with them about sex and date rape and all of those things that are important for you to know and have the basics about knowing before you go into the real world of college. Because in our world of college, we're treating students like they are above 18, they are real world adults, and they're dealing with real world issues. So as you can imagine on a college campus, it could run the gamut of all types of things. So you want to talk with them about, what does it mean to speak up for yourself? What does it mean to advocate for yourself? And how can you all build a relationship of trust? So as a student, I would say to you, communicate with your parents. Let them know what's going on in your world. Let them know your struggles, let them know your triumphs, but talk with them and invite them into your world as a college student, because you just never know what's going to happen. And you want to be prepared. And then on the flip side of that, for the parents, I would say, trust your students, trust your students, trust your students. I can't emphasize that enough. Trust them to know that you have given them the values, the wherewithal, and the tools that they need to make good decisions. They're not always going to make good decisions. That's why you have people like me that work on a college campus. I would say get to know the faculty, but I would put a strong emphasis on getting to know the staff. Folks like me that work in student life, know somebody that you can call up and say, hey, have you called Ebony? Have you stopped by Ebony's office to see how she's doing? Because people like me can talk with your student and say, what's going on? And they're more apt to talk to us sometimes than they are to talk to you. And I can maybe have a real conversation with them to help them get back on the right track. So make friends with the staff, parents. And the last tip that I have, since we have such a short time and I want to make sure I can answer any questions, hopefully, students, get involved. And when I say get involved, I mean, do as much as you can. If I can think of one thing that I regret about my undergrad experience is that I did not get to study abroad. If you are able and financially able to study abroad while you are in college, this might be your one time to get your passport, to go out of the country, to see things, to see the world. And that really does open your eyes to the inclusivity and the type of world that we have that is just amazing. Do community service, start your own club, get involved, plan an event, go to an event that you don't even know like anybody at, or you don't know what's going on there, just to learn about a new culture or a new practice. To me, that is where the real learning happens in college. You meet new people, you meet new friends, you get experiences. And if I could say anything about my college experience, and now that I'm an administrator, I've been working at college for 17 years now. I know I started when I was 2. It's fine. I look this good because I drink water, but I've been working for 17 years now. And I would say the best thing that you're going to walk away with from college from outside of your degree is the relationships and the experiences that you have that you're going to build. So I would say get involved from the moment that you step on campus. If you can get involved in student government, if you were involved in student council as a high school student, if you volunteered in your community, whatever it is that you're interested in, you can do that at college. And so just get out there and get involved and get active in your campus. This is my contact information. So this is a great time to take a good screenshot here. This is my email address. Like I said, I work at Maryville University, which is in St. Louis. I'd love to talk with any of you. If you have more questions. I have HBCU experience. I'm an HBCU graduate, and I'm very connected in the St. Louis and Kansas City community. So I'd love to talk with you all more, but I just wanted to give you some snippets there. So take a screenshot of my information, and please feel free to contact me. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now so that I can see if there are any questions in the chat, because I couldn't see the chat while I was talking. So I apologize if there were any questions.
I don't see any at the moment. Someone said it needs to be a hashtag, vitamins, not medicine.
Okay.
Hey,
quote me on that, Myra, please. I'm trying to get cited in the journals. Yes.
Well, we definitely appreciate that, Miss Ramsey, with the education and the health facts as well. I need to get my water intake up. I'm starting to look a little wrinkles. Got bags underneath my eyes. Maybe that's why. So yeah, so I'll just take some of that advice.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for having this and just pouring into our youth. You all are just super important. So thank you all for what you all are doing as well.
Thank you.
As well.
All right, I think we're transitioning to our next presenter. All right, our next presenter is Carlos Pinkerton. While he gets set up, I'll just acknowledge what Ebony said, that get involved. I still put some of the things from my college experience on my resume because somebody was like, yeah, this 18-year-old should be managing a $50,000 events budget. Let's do that. Awesome. You ready, Carlos?
Yes, I am ready.
All right.
So, good afternoon, everyone. I am Carlos Pinkerton. Please excuse any background noise that you all might hear. I am currently at my chapter meeting. I'm a member of Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And today is our first day back in chapter in person. We've been meeting virtually for the last year. So, we're a little excited to see one another. I am going to actually be talking to you all about how to claim your space in academia. So again, my name is Carlos Pinkerton. I am a PhD student at Texas A&M University. I also serve as the student engagement coordinator for our brand new Relish campus, which basically means I oversee everything student life for the Texas A&M University System's Relish campus. So today we're going to talk about how do you navigate instructors, advocating for yourself, and some of those things that helps with the college transition. So if you hear a little bit of overlap between me and Ebony, it's because college is a lot of the same stuff. You're just taking the things that you learn from a student life perspective, and you're moving it into the academic space as well. So, navigating instructors. So, one of the first things you should do when you get to college is sit at the very front of the class. Professors are going to know who you are, especially if you are a Black or a brown student who attends a predominantly white institution. Your professors are going to know who you are. They're going to stick out because you're going to be one of the few. So you want to make sure that you're building positive relationships with those professors and TAs. You want to attend office hours, and you want to get to know this person on a personal and on an academic level. One of my key tips to a lot of students is try not to schedule yourself for 8 a.m. classes. When you step into the academic space, you don't have somebody waking you up at 7:30 to tell you have to be at class at 8 o'clock. It's up to you whether or not you go. And if the professor knows that you're not going to be there and they start to see that as a pattern, it's going to raise a red flag to them. You're not going to know them for the right reasons. So you want to make sure that when you are setting your class schedule, that you are doing so to be advantageous for you. Um, College is a much different dynamic than high school, as you don't have those training wheels or those safeguards as your parents being there. You're living on your own. You're living in the dorms. You have your friends there. You done met your boyfriend or your girlfriend, and you're able to kind of create your own itinerary for your day and for your life. And you want to make sure that you are still being successful in your academics as well, because they'll send you home if you don't produce. So you want to make sure that you are, again, building positive relationships with your professors and your teaching assistants. Teaching assistants can take you a very long way, because those are the people who are typically grading your papers, especially for some of those larger lectures that you'll be taking in within your first semester of school. And so you want to make sure that you are getting the most that you can get out of your educational experience. Lastly, if you have issues with your professors, there are plenty of resources that you can use. So say if you and a professor are just not vibing, you feel that they are discriminating against you, you can always contact people over in the office of the dean of students. You can contact the department chair, the dean of the college. There are ways to navigate the space of dealing with difficult instructors. I'm not going to be oblivious to say all professors are great. No, some professors are jerks. And you have to know what your resources are in order to navigate that space. So, advocating for yourself. Don't be afraid to speak up. There are going to be a plethora of things that could take place throughout your collegiate experience. And you need to be able to say, hey, that made me feel some sort of way. There are counseling centers at universities. There are student orgs. There are your advisors for your student organizations. Again, the more involved you are, the more access that you have to the resources that are available to you on campus. And it makes it easier for you to be able to speak up and utilize your voice. So if you don't know something, ask for help. Universities pay plenty of people to be there to be of service to you. I have a whole degree. I have getting my second degree in higher education administration. I live to help students navigate this college space. It drives me, it motivates me, because I had a lot of mentors who helped me navigate the collegiate process, especially when I was at The Ohio State University. So I want to just really encourage you to ask for help when you need it. And then when issues arise that and you need to just find someone to help you get the problem solved. Everything can be fixed in a college setting. Just about any and everything can be fixed. You just have to know who to talk to. So if you're having issues with paying for school, make sure that you're talking to the right people over in the financial aid office. You talk to your financial aid counselor, you talk to your financial aid advisor. If you're having issues in the class, you're talking to your professors. If you're having issues with a professor, you're reaching out to your dean of students office. For me, we had a Black Male Resource Center. And it was connected to the academic side of the house at Ohio State. So we had advocates for us who would go and they would talk to these professors. They would talk to the department chairs and the deans on our behalf, and they would help advocate for ourselves. And then finally, you have a voice. Use it. Social media is your outlet. Don't tell anybody I told you this, but universities hate being put on blast on social media for incidents that occur. If you are a student and you are feeling like, you all are not being heard by the faculty, by the staff, by the administration, utilize social media. Get on Twitter, talk about it, let people know what is happening, and then you will find additional support and additional advocates outside of that university space who will be able to help you figure out, okay, how can we come to some sort of resolve? One of the things that I talk to a lot of my students about, because over the last 2 years, we've had the George Floyd situation, we've had Philando Castile and Eric Garner. When all of that stuff was happening at Texas A&M, our students were outside protesting. So my job as an administrator was to be like, okay, how can we support you? What is it that you need? Is it going to file for your petitions at the police department? Is it making sure that you all are safe and we're providing water for you all? Like, universities want you all to utilize your voice. They want you all to utilize your opportunities, because change happens in the university setting. Change happens because of academia. So utilize your voice, take the information that you are learning in your classroom experience, and then share that with the broader world. And if you don't like something, get involved with campus to change it. Students, you all have a lot of power, especially within your student government. So I really like that Ebony had told you all to get involved. Get involved in as many organizations as you can. Your academics comes first. I was one of those people where I majored in student organizations, so I was in just about everything. Then I kind of fit school in around there. Which, ultimately it worked out because it helped me find my passion. It helped me figure out what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So that is one tidbit of advice I can give you. If you don't like something, get involved with campus organizations, get involved with campus activities to go ahead and change it, because there are powers in numbers. And if you have a whole group of other students also supporting you in this, then faculty and administration, we're a lot more in that to go ahead and make a change. Because again, we are here to serve our students. We are here for the benefit of you all. And you all pay our salary because of tuition. So we want to make sure that you all are having a great experience while you are at our institution. And then, okay, so then the college transition. So one of the best things about college is being able to make new friends and build relationships. I know Miss Allen because me and her went to college together. We worked on a program because she was involved in Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and I was a member of Band of Brothers, and we did some joint collaborations together. So building those relationships is going to be very, very crucial to your success once you go to college. So, you can't just go to the library and study all the time. It's okay to go to a couple of parties and meet some new people and to build some new relationships. It's okay to join fraternities and sororities, join fraternities and sororities, join fraternities and sororities. I'm always an advocate for Greek life. I have a background working in sorority and fraternity life. So I always encourage students that finding their place and finding their space within Black Greek letter organizations really can help your growth as a person and help your development and help your personal and your professional networks. There on most campuses, they have anywhere from like 100 to like 1,000 student organizations. At Texas A&M, we have over 1,200 student organizations for students to get involved in. We have everything from men's and women's organizations to fraternities and sororities. We have a cupcake baking organization. We have a barbecuing organization. So these people really sit out on campus and they just be barbecuing food and giving it away to people. Well, that was pre-COVID. So getting involved on campus is probably one of your biggest things, and it's going to help with your transition. Like Ebony, I was a first generation college student, so I didn't have a whole lot of context for what was going to happen once I got here. I didn't know about how to navigate issues with financial aid. I didn't know how to navigate difficulties with professors, or if I was actually struggling with the class, where resources were available to me. So, there are plenty of people who are there to kind of help you figure that out. And one of the best things about college is you're going to start to figure out who you are. Don't be afraid and don't be upset if you change your major 5 times. I changed my major 5 times before I actually found something that I like. And then I'm still not even doing strategic communications. I actually work in higher education. I went back and got my master's. So it's going to be a period of transition. And transition is really, really hard for everybody. Everybody is trying to figure out who they are. Everybody is trying to find their space and their place on campus. And that first time that you go home from college is going to be extremely difficult. Like the Thanksgiving break, the winter break, is probably the biggest place of transition that you will see, because you will have your new friends that you gained when you went to college. Because you'll find people from your hometown who went to your rival high schools, and those people will end up becoming your best friend. You'll find people who are from all over the country, and that would be your new core group of people, because y'all have something in common. Y'all have this shared experience of college that you are going through with each other. And so you're going to also have your friends who decided not to go to college and who have stayed home And so sometimes it's a little bit of tension between you and your old group and your new group. You don't necessarily know how to navigate that. And I want to tell you, it's normal and it's okay. And you'll figure it out. For me, a lot of my friends went to college. So for us, it just became okay, so you went there, I went here. And we were road tripping because, Ohio is only but so big. We were road tripping to each other's schools, and I was mixing my groups of friends. So now we all know each other and we build networks. So now, as professionals, some of us are in different Greek letter organizations. We work for different companies, but we're able to help one another and we're able to tag each other in on different opportunities that are available. So there are ways that you can build the bridge between the two, especially once you all find that some sort of commonality. And finally, what I'm going to tell you all is be respectful to your parents' home. When you go to college, you're going to be out for 2 or 3 in the morning. You might not come back to your dorm room until 5 or 6 in the morning. It's completely up to you. But you don't do that to your parents. You don't do that to their house. It's disrespectful. A lot of students struggle with, well, I'm grown. I do what I want to do. You grown until you get back home to your parents' house. They're going to still see you as their child. And so you're going to have to be a lot more mindful and checking in like, hey, mom, dad, I want to be late, or, is it okay if I go do this? Because you still want to keep a positive relationship with your parents, and you don't want your collegiate experience to kind of be, while you're falling out because y'all just have a difference of opinion, because you can't operate at home the way that you did when you were away at school, because, you ain't the boss at your house. So that is all that I have for you. Are there any questions? Okay, let me go to the chat. Yeah, well, I see that there are no questions. Yes, sending love to all the Greek A506 Ice Code. Yes, my pretty sword is owl for Kappa Owl for Sorority Incorporated. And if you have any questions, I see something on there. Thanks for being 100, Carlos. College taught me that everyone wasn't there to help. It was up to me to get what I needed from my superiors to ensure I got the most out of college. I didn't realize until it was too late that I should have been getting practice and advocating for myself while I was in high school. So start now. Determining what you need to succeed and use your voice to speak up for those in need. No one knows you more than you. Also, you love the point of balancing feeling grown and not being grown. Yeah, you ain't really grown when you in college because the parents still putting the bill. I'm 30 and sometimes my parents still put the bill. I'm 33. So again, if you all have any questions about something, Stacey, do you mind dropping my contact information in the chat? Feel free to reach out to me. I love talking to students. I love talking to parents and providing you with any resources that I can. And I hope you all have a great rest of the day. I'm about to get back in here in this chapter meeting because I haven't seen my line brothers, my sayings in almost a year. So, bye.
Thank you. Awesome. My father used to call college the simulated real world, because this is the place where you get an opportunity to do everything that adulthood has to offer, but you have that safety net of knowing that there'll be people to support you during your mistakes. So we have a quick raffle for a swag kit, and the question, type it in the chat if you know it. What do these sets of letters mean? The first is HBCU, the second is PWI. So if you know what those stand for, let us know in the chat, HBCU or PWI. Oh yes, Salita.
Oh, we got a 50-50 here. Miss Juanita had one, but Salita had both.
Yes, HBCU is a historically Black college and or university, and a PWI is a predominantly white institution. So those are going to be the two main types of colleges when you're selecting. There are also kind of like private colleges that would normally fall into a PWI or different types of religious institutions. So make sure that as you're planning out your academics, you know which types of schools you want to apply to so that you can be looking into their requirements for entry. We're going to head into our third and final presenter for our advocacy session, who is Mr. Mike Jones. I would say like who Mike Jones, but I'm pretty certain you all are too young for that. Are you ready, Mr. Jones or Dr. Jones?
Yeah, put some respect on my frat name.
Okay. All right, I'm going to hand it over to Dr. Jones.
Awesome. Thank you so much for this invitation. And I'm so excited about the work that Navigate STL, and I see College Bound. I see my younger frat brother, what's going on team. And amazing work that all of you all are doing in the St. Louis community is so needed. I am here to talk a little bit about self-advocacy and ownership of my educational experience. And if I understand the context right, and if you can just write in the chat or just feel free to let me know from folks on the panel, the context of this group is middle school to high school kids, right? Is that the context? Good deal.
Yes.
And I apologize in advance. You might have I got a little 4-year-old who's with me, might come and say, he wants an apple. Can you say hi so Daddy can finish his speech? And then we come, give me 5 minutes. Deal? All right. So self-advocacy and ownership of my educational experience. This is so important. And I'm gonna start off with a couple personal stories before we dive into some practical information. I wanna leave you with the 4 E's of self-advocacy within your educational experience. See, I come from the Black church experience. So we tend to go in 3s and letters to help to connect the audience to the information. So I want to start with a personal story. My first personal story was as a 3rd grader. My teacher, her name was Miss Clark. Miss Clark, I used to cut up in her class. I was so bad. I was so bad in Miss Clark's class. And every night she would call home and tell my parents about how I was cutting up in the classroom. But she would first start by saying, Mr. Jones, Mrs. Jones, before I even start, I just want you to know this boy has potential. I think there's something in him, and I want you to not give up on him. But after she did that, what she did was she would proceed to tell my parents about how I would cut up in her class. And she would tell my parents, she would say, don't take him out of his sports because he needs those sports so he can stay on task. That was my first number 1 lesson in self-advocacy. And I'll tell you why in a second. My second lesson in self-advocacy and ownership of my educational experience was when I was a sophomore in high school. I was a very mediocre student as a sophomore in high school, and I would cut out of class to go to college reps who would come on campus so I can get out of class. And so it just so happened was I was in a gym class during my sophomore year of high school, and I see this rep from St. Louis University coming into the space, and she was struggling with her bags. And so she told me, she said, can you help me with this? And she proceeded down the hall, and she was like, you should come. And I was like, SLU's for the smart kids. That's not me. That's not the direction that I think I'm going in. And she's like, you should come check it out. And so I did. And it changed the trajectory of my educational experience. That started my journey towards self-advocacy and ownership of my education. And if I have parents on this call, I want to encourage you. And if there are students on this call, I want to encourage you as well, because this journey towards self-advocacy and ownership of your education, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen by attending one presentation. It's a process. And it's a process of figuring out what's right, what's wrong, what fits, what doesn't fit. And you take experiences like this and you go test things out and try them. And those 2 experiences for me really helped me advocate for myself, give me ownership towards my educational experience. And so now I want to get into the practical pieces, particularly at the middle school level. What can you do at the middle school level to start preparing for high school that will ultimately prepare you for life after school, right? And I know within this context, most of the people who went here or in this space attended a 4-year university. But I want to broaden the horizon. So, because 4-year universities may not be for everybody. It may be for you to go to community college route. It may be for you to go military. But this is the time when you're a middle school kid And please, by the way, who's ever in charge, just pull my coattail, because I forgot how much time you told me I had. So just pull my coattail when it's time to go. But in this middle school kid, so if you're between 6th grade and 8th grade, this is the stuff that you want to start focusing on. Parents, these are the things that you want to start doing for your middle school kid to prepare them for life after high school, in college in particular. Number one, the first E, you got to expose. You got to expose. And what I mean by exposure, what you got to do is you got to go start visiting colleges now. That's free. We have about 13, 14 universities in the St. Louis area. It's nothing to go sign up for a tour. And when you give kids exposure, you can reach out to where the kids, once we return from this COVID piece, they can go start shadowing students. If you're interested in shadowing our undergraduate students at St. Louis University, where I'm the Black Alumni President, I welcome that. I'll make sure, if you're a family here and want to get connected to some of our undergraduate students, I will make sure you get that space to shadow and walk around, get the feel of what a college campus is like, what a college smells like, what a dorm room smells like. These are all things that are easy to do and that are so important for the long-term goals. And this is where you start to get into the discussions about career paths. It's going to change 1,000 times from now over the next 4 years. But right now, exposure to these things will allow you to start making tread towards your goals. And then when you should go visit campuses. You should go visit campuses. I heard talk about PWIs, historically Black colleges and universities, small, private. Go visit them all. If your family's going on a family trip, you need to make it your business to stop at a school in that town. Make sure your student knows that a part of our family trip, we're going to stop at this university, if it's nothing more than walking across campus, because you'll be surprised about what that exposure does in the long run, just giving them exposure. And then number two, after you expose yourself, you got to educate yourself. So after that tour is over, talk to your young person. How did you enjoy that experience at Harris Stowe or at St. Louis University or at Washington University? What did you like about it? What you didn't like? What did you not like about it? And start to have those conversations right now, right? And I guarantee you, once you get to your junior, senior year of high school, it'll be less pressure, and it'll be because it's something that's a part of what they're used to doing. I see Hispanic Serving Institution as well. Thank you for uplifting that in the chat. And I got 4 minutes, y'all, to get through the next 3 E's. And number 3, you got to enhance and invest something in your educational experience. And what I mean by that, right now in middle school is the time to start investing into your education post high school. We have some amazing universities who have some summer programming right now for middle school kids. At Washington University, where I work, we have the college prep program where we start middle school kids in 7th grade and follow them. 1 second, MJ. Okay, I got you. Praise God. All right, I'll be there in a second. Where we follow them all the way through their senior year of high school, and we pay for them to attend Washington University. UMSU has the summer bridge program and goes on and on at SLU, St. Louis University. Each university, no matter where you're at, they have bridge programs where they focus on middle school teams all the way up to their senior year of high school to help with the recruitment, right? And so those are 3 E's. We got expose, we got educate, and then once you educate, you enhance the experience. That's investing into the experiences as a middle school kid. And what that does is it helps them for the outside the classroom experience once you get to college. So once you graduate, it helps them. Thank you, Juanita, for putting the Harris Stowe program on there. They also have the Upward Bound program at Harris Stowe, one of the few still left in the nation. And so what that does is if you're a middle school kid and you know what it's like to be on a college campus, you know what it's like to spend a week away from your mom and dad, even if it's just a week, spending a week in a summer program, that's going to enhance your college experience. And when you have that outside the classroom experience, it makes your inside the classroom experience all that better once you get to college. And so I want to, if anything, I want to leave my contact number in here for anybody who has follow-up questions, or if you want to follow up with me about St. Louis University or more experience about Washington University and our college prep program. It's all these amazing opportunities that benefit children of Black and brown culture in particular. I implore you to take up those opportunities that come available, or if you're connected with College Bound, an amazing program, or Navigate STL, I encourage you to stay in contact with them So in 3 or 4 years, hopefully I'll be able to see you at St. Louis University or WashU, ready to take on that goal, or St. Louis Community College as well, who has an amazing A+ program, by the way. And that's something that you should start taking advantage of as a high school student through the community college, where it can help you pay for an associate degree even before you graduate high school. I know there was a lot of information, but if y'all don't remember anything, I need you to remember this, family. Expose yourself to something great as it relates to your education. And then you educate yourself after you expose them and enhance your high school experience. And that will make you all the better once you graduate. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Jones. Really appreciate that. All right, we're going to head to our next $50 Amazon raffle. You ready, Amehi? You're muted, so I'm going to read the question. Does financial assistance exist for the following? So just drop the letters in the chat. Where does the financial assistance exist? We'll be sharing the contact information for all of the panelists after this presentation. All right, so what can you get paid for?
Is it A, ACT cost, B, application fees, C, tuition, or D, transportation costs?
I mean, or you can E, all of the above them.
Oh, E, all of the above as well.
All right. We have several answers in the chat. And honestly, both of them are correct. So all of the above, yes. And only A, B, and C, yes. So Ebony hinted on transportation costs. If you are a student interested in studying abroad, you can get all of the things associated with that, including your flight, immunizations, and plane tickets paid for through scholarship or other assistance at your university of choice. Nobody's really gonna pay for you to go back and forth home. But also in high school, you can get your ACT costs paid for, you can get your application fees paid for, you can even find scholarships for tuitions to private universities or universities that you, or private high schools or universities that you plan to attend, all while in college. I had a full ride scholarship to The Ohio State University starting in 6th grade because for being a first generation college student of historically underrepresented descent and having a high school or a very high GPA. I was really smart. I don't know what happened. I used to be, they thought I was a genius. I don't know what happened. But yes, those are all correct. So I think that was Juanita and Salita that will be giving gift cards to. All right, and we're gonna transition into the next session. You got this, Demehi?
Yes, I do. So our last aid today is for access. Where do I go? How do I get in, and who is going to pay for it? You know, all the important questions. There are so many options to prevent you from going to college. And there are also options to prevent you from going into depth in your undergraduate degree. There's a ton of financial support and so much available for you. Our next 3 presenters are going to tell us how to get the resources that we need and how to use those resources once we get them. We are going to start with Felipe Martinez.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for inviting me. My name is Felipe. My pronouns are they, them, and this afternoon, I would like to talk just a little bit briefly about affordability. And before I do that, I do want to introduce myself just so everyone knows. I'm the Senior Student Advisor at the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis. I have about 13 years experience as a student advisor. And so when I'm speaking today, I'm definitely using all of the experience, not my own. I do have my own experience as a first generation college graduate and student, but I'm also using the experience of the hundreds of students that I've worked with over these 13 years, right? My very first job was working with a class of 420 students. They were the class of 2014 graduating But when I met them, they were in the 7th grade. And I worked with them for every year that they were in school for 6 years until they went off to high school. I'm telling you this story because, funny enough, I just met virtually with a student who I met back then, and we talked about graduate school in that meeting. And so what I want to really say is that this is a long game, college. And if we're talking about students who are in the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, we're talking about the long game. And so the specific information that you're learning right now is important to know about those resources, to be aware of them and know that they're out there. But know that the landscape will change by the time you get to your senior year of high school. It will change by the time you get to your freshman year of college. But what's most important is that your goal will not change. College is your goal. And so, of course, maybe back in the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, we're thinking about money, right? Like, how do I pay for college? That's so expensive. We see some private schools that have like $50,000 or $60,000 prices on them. A sticker price is what they call it, right? And when we look at that, when we're in the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade, we're going, whoa, like I could never afford that amount. And that's already going to impact the way I think about college. It's already going to start to tell me the kinds of things that I want to do, that I can do, that I might do, right? But I want to make sure that I am not taking myself out of any process by looking at that sticker price when I'm in the 8th grade, because that is not going to help me get to college. What I need to know is that there are resources available. You're learning about a lot of them today. There are resources out there. There are fee waivers, there are application fee waivers, there's financial aid. You can get your tests paid for by getting fee waivers. And so what we need to know early on, and what I've seen proven time and time again, is that what we need to know is what we want to do and what we're trying to do. And then leveraging the resources, the people who are around us who are already in that world and doing those things, and making sure that we're building a rapport with them, that we're learning about ourselves, what we want to do, where we want to go, and we're learning about our resources and how they can help us when we get to our senior year in high school. The help is there, the people are there, the resources are there. I've heard folks talking about self-advocacy today, and that's huge. Self-advocacy is what it's all about. When you're thinking about college, you're thinking about that sticker price. How much does it cost? How much financial aid do I have? And those are a lot of important questions, but in order to get, so I guess what we're getting to is scholarships, right? That's how we pay for college. How do I go to college? I got to get scholarships. And if I want to get scholarships, how do I get scholarships? Well, in the 7th, 8th, or 9th grade, you can't be applying for scholarships yet. But what you can do is start learning about yourself. Start noting the things that you notice. Start to pay attention to the things that you're interested in and the things that you're investing your time and energy in, because those are the things that you will be writing about in your senior year when you're applying for scholarships. And what I'll tell you is scholarships is a whole nother kind of work. It's scholarships. It's filling out applications for scholarships. I'm speaking from personal experience, and I'm speaking from the experience of the students who I've worked with over the years. It really is work. I've seen a student make $2,500 in 15 minutes by going online, filling out an online application for a scholarship, taking a selfie with himself and his mom because his mom was his personal life hero, uploaded it to the essay, and a couple weeks later, he learned he won $2,500. And a lot of folks might think, oh, $2,500, how's that going to help you in college? But I mean, a textbook can cost $300. So $2,500 can really add up. If you are applying for those scholarships, you want to remember, I'm not going to go for what everybody's going for. Everyone's going for the $10,000, right? So I'm going to of course, I want to apply for the $10,000, but I also want to apply for that $500, for that $300, and for that $2,000. Again, we're going back to who am I and what am I trying to do? I'm trying to get to college. I'm trying to meet that cost of attendance. And how I'm going to do that is with scholarships. So back in the 7th, 8th, 9th grade, what I'm thinking about as a student is not how much does that college cost, because that college is going to cost something different by the time I get to that college. That's not going to be helpful. That's not a wise use of my energy, right? Or even my stress. I don't really need to be stressing out about how much does that college cost today. What I really need to be thinking about, who am I? What do I care about? And what am I doing every day outside of the classroom? Inside the classroom is important, right? But what's happening outside the classroom? What are those things that I'm doing? Who am I talking to? What am I learning about? Those are the important things that are going to help you get those scholarship dollars that are going to help you go to that college that you want to go to. And let's talk about colleges and their prices for just a moment. Every college has a different price. Even colleges that are the same kind of college, right? A private school, $50,000, $60,000, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply to those colleges, but I'm also going to strategize because I know that I want to be in college in the fall no matter what, no matter how much money I got. I know I want to be there. So I'm going to apply to those colleges, but I'm also going to apply to some more affordable colleges, right? Colleges that don't have such a high sticker price, colleges that I know are local. I'm going to create a range of options. Every college I apply to is an option. And so that's why it's really important. Just like it's important to apply to a variety of scholarships, different dollar amounts from different sources, it's also important to apply to a range of colleges. And so I'm actually going to speak from very much personal experience here to 7th, 8th, and 9th graders that right now we may have a dream school. This is my dream school. This is a school that I have to go to. And that's great. You definitely want to have that goal. You want to set your eye on that prize and you want to work towards that. Of course. But you also want to be realistic with yourself and you want to say, I'm going to apply to that school and I'm going to apply to every single school that I want to go to. That might work out for me because what I'm doing is I'm creating options for myself. I'm not going to limit my options by saying that school's too expensive, I won't apply there. That school, I'm not smart enough to go to that school, I'm not going to apply there. That school would never accept me. I'm not going to rule myself out. I'm not going to apply for this scholarship because it seems too complex or maybe not going to do that. As a student, my job is to know what I want to do and to apply for every single thing that I know I can apply for. I'm going to use my resources. I'm going to use the people around me. And I'm going to make sure that I have that support. And so really what I want to say is that the most important thing here is going to be organization. Is starting right now where you are, pausing, saying, where am I? Who am I? What am I trying to do? What are the things that I do and that I care about? And how am I going to invest my time in those things over the next 3, 4, 5 years until I get to my senior year of high school? At which time I'm going to need to write about them. And so it might be helpful if through these years, you've got a journal, you're writing things down, you're collecting letters of reference from adults who are involved in the work that you're doing or in the projects that you're participating in, the sports that you're playing, the clubs that you're participating in, all of those things, right? Because again, at the end of the road, when you're in your senior year, remember that's not the end. That's actually the beginning of the road going into college. So when you get to your senior year, that's going to be that point where you're writing those essays and where they're going to ask you some tough questions like, who are you? Tell us who you are. Tell us what you want to do. They're going to ask, tell us what you've done in your life. And you're going to be 17. You're going to be like, what have I done with my, oh, that's right. Back in the 8th grade, I started thinking about this. There are some things that I've done. There are some things I can talk about. There's some experiences that I can reflect on in this essay. And you know what? It's going to give me a fighting shot at this scholarship. And really adding up those scholarships, that's the game. That's what I got to do. All of the specifics will fall into place as you go along. And it sounds kind of like maybe a little unsettling to think, wait, I don't have everything. I don't know everything at the front end. That is really unsettling, I know. But as a student advisor, I can tell you that's how it's got to be. We've got to know what our goal is, and we've got to work with some things kind of in a fog for a little while, and things will clear up as time goes on. But in the beginning, what you got to know is who you are and what you want to do and where you want to go. And I think there's a chat feature here. So if there are any questions, I've left just a couple of minutes if we have any questions, any thoughts or ideas from either staff or attendees.
Felipe, I think you put pretty much the biggest cherry on top of the piece of pie that people have been talking about today, connecting all of the dots into how students are really going to be able to take everything that they're learning at this point and implement it as they go forward. So thank you so much.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for inviting me.
Thank you for being here.
All right,
Definitely appreciate you, Felipe.
for sure. Have a good day, everyone.
Wait, question.
Yeah.
Where can a middle schooler start looking for scholarships?
Okay. So, Google, scholarships for middle school students, right? We're looking for scholarships for the things that we do, the sports that we play, the hands we write with, the lives we lead. Those are the kinds of scholarships. But I will be honest with you, there are not a whole lot of scholarships readily available to middle school students. And so right now, what middle school students should be doing is thinking, how am I going to make sure my scholarship game is tight when I get to my senior year? Or even my junior year, right? Because you can maybe find more scholarships in your junior year. But as a middle school student, I think it's focusing on those essays that are going to come later on down the line.
Yeah, there's also a Scholly app in the App Store for Google Play and iOS, where they can start hipping you to lesser known scholarships that you can start preparing for as early as 8th or 9th grade, looking to make sure that you're meeting those requirements and preparing for the types of essay questions that they're going to ask. So when you're in your sophomore, junior, and senior year, you're prepared to just bust out those applications.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good one.
You too.
You as well.
Amehi, you want to introduce our next speaker? I heard he's a really cool guy.
So this next speaker, I don't even know how to put into words how amazing this person is, and just roll the clip. Honestly, the video itself is just gonna do it justice.
Awesome. You ready, Sierra? Oh, wait. Sierra, you ready?
Yes, I am moving some things across the screen. Sorry, guys. Our first technical difficulty of the day.
Juanita said that Harris Stowe has the Verizon's program for middle school students that you guys can start looking into also.
So while we are waiting for those technical difficulties to get resolved, parents, what are some of your colleges that you have went to? Students, are there colleges that do you have a dream college? Is there a college that you want to go to? I myself, I went to Northwest Missouri State University, where I got my degree in a Bachelor of Science with a Bachelor of Science, Applied Health Science with the emphasis in exercise science. There, I also joined one of the greatest fraternities to ever face this earth and to touch this continent and other continents as well. Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Yeah, so I went to a PWR college, so I know my experience myself. I loved the atmosphere. I love the one-on-one talk, and I love the one-on-one help.
Truman State alumni in the chat. All right, we're ready when you are, Sierra. All right, this next guy, I don't know if you'll recognize him, but we'll see.
Sergeant. I am from St. Louis, Missouri. I am a St. Louis public school graduate and a first-generation college graduate. I now work at College Bound as the Director of Partnerships, and I am so happy that you're taking the time out to learn more about our program. College Bound is a free program that helps students get to and through college. We want to help you get ready for college, get into college, figure out how to pay for college, and be successful in college once you get there. College Bound is like a family, and you'll be joining a community of other students who are going to college, in college, and have even completed college. Our 550 students are at over 40 high schools in St. Louis and over 50 colleges and universities across the country. They are out here doing an amazing job, graduating at 500% higher than the demographics predict. We help students learn about college and themselves so that they can select the best college for them. Our students are so different, so that looks different for everyone. Here's a sample of colleges and universities students have attended. You'll see community colleges, small schools, large schools, public, private, HBCUs. We are here to help support and empower our students to graduate, no matter where they attend. So what's in it for you? Being a member of College Bound gives you access to scholarships. We help you apply for scholarships, but there's also scholarships available to you just for being a College Bound student. We have free ACT prep. Our class of 2020 saw a 96% improvement in their ACT scores with an average growth of 3 points. We are preparing you for college. Throughout your time in high school, you will attend college visits, meet with admission reps, work on college essays, and work on your college list. We care about all of our students as whole individuals. So we provide mental health services like individual therapy, case management, and social-emotional lessons in our classes. At College Bound, we are developing a community of leaders. Our 10th grade camp is just one example of how we work to help students explore their own strengths and weaknesses, connect with one another, and grow as individuals. Our work is customized to you. We are a 7 to 9 year program. We stick with you for that long because we know through experience and data that getting to college is hard and that many students struggle in or even drop out of college. And we are committed to staying with you from start to finish. At the end of 10th grade, you'll spend the summer testing the college skills we've worked on at our Bayer Fund College Bound Summer Institute by taking actual college classes with the chance to earn free college credit. Again, our program is free for students and families. Some additional cool opportunities include math camp, networking, job shadowing. We send care packages with cool swag and other needed items. We host career panels. We provide tutoring and provide college tours. We would love to talk to you more about the program. So apply. Remember, we work with over 40 plus high schools, so we're encouraging you to apply before February 15th. You can scan the code here on the screen to pull up our mobile-friendly app. We can also mail you an application to your house. So text us at the number below, 314-207-9930. Stay updated on all things College Bound. Follow us on Instagram at CB Recruitment or on Facebook at College Bound STL. We look forward to reading your application soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that video.
So I am a CB alum as well as the recruiting coordinator. So I do handle, I'm in charge of recruitment, so I handle interviews and things like that. There will be a interest form at the end to where 7th and 8th graders can fill out a interest form to be put into our database, so that way we can connect with you all as well.
Awesome. So this is a great opportunity for you guys to actually hop on navigate.stlschools.org and figure out which high schools you're interested in as you're starting to prepare for college. We're super excited for our next speaker. He is going to round out the presentation, but before we do that, we have one last raffle for a swag set. And the question, okay, sorry, getting lots of messages here. The question for that raffle is going to relate back to Felipe's presentation. And my question to you guys is, what is a test that you can get a voucher for? So he named one specifically that they offer vouchers for. ACT, that is correct. Thank you. Awesome. We're going to go to our last presenter, and that is Ryan Wilson. Sorry. Mr. Wilson, you ready? Oh, wait. Mr. Wilson?
Sorry, I had to hit the mute. I apologize. I'm sorry, I'm working on 2 screens. I apologize. So don't think I'm looking away. So how's everybody doing? Great. Okay, good. So can I go ahead and start sharing, please? I guess that's a yes. Give me 1 second. All right. Again, my name is Ryan Wilson. I work at St. Louis University, but before St. Louis University, I attended the best HBCU in Missouri, which is Lincoln University in Jefferson City, Missouri. And I'm part of the best fraternity in the world, actually the universe, Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. So just FYI, so just want to put that out there first. But the things to consider when it comes to college, I want to make sure I'll touch on these things. But the first thing before we get into all these things I want to talk about is first, parents. You really want to create an email address for you and your student before you start this college process. This college process is very important, but that email is very, very important. The reason why you want to create an email, you want all the emails from colleges streamlined into one email so that you can open up the emails as well as a student. This will create less traffic on your email addresses, but then also when it comes time for FAFSA, it's very important that the parent has the access to, and the student has access to the parent's 4-digit PIN code, because parents sometimes forget the 4-digit PIN code. It's very important that the student has access to it too. So this is a great way to kind of save everything on one email address for all college everything. That's my first little FYI. But the things I want to start off with, things to consider when it comes to college: cost, location, culture, school climate, and also diversity. These are probably the 5 important things that we can definitely talk about. I remember this young man was talking, I think Mr. Brown was speaking about Northwest and the experience he had there. And I think that is excellent. Every school, every culture is going to be totally different. And this is why you need to start visiting schools. It's very, very important to visit schools, because here's some little tricks to the trade. Every school keeps a little note that you have visited the school. So the more you visit, the more the school thinks you like them. But then also when it's time for scholarships, and if you're between 2 students, but you have attended the school on a visit, on an official visit, not just walking on campus, but an official visit more than once, that could kind of sway that school of giving you a scholarship. It's not guaranteed, but it is a great thing to do. So please do official visits. Right now, our campuses are open for visits, so you can do those on college campuses. And also, when it comes time to travel, this is the best time to visit colleges also too. But cost. Everybody has their dream school. Everybody has a school they want to go to. Please understand that cost is very important. Students, your parents are not going to go into bankruptcy, going to send you to University of Hawaii in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to get you the best education that we can pay for. So as students, please understand there's some limitations to all colleges. So please understand that. And parents, be upfront with your students about how much you can actually pay for college, because that would probably prepare everyone in the room to prepare you for the right college and the right place to go to. And also College Bound does great communication with all the colleges. So even if you are down a little bit about a college because of cost, College Bound has great partners they work with, and they also support you in going to the college you really want to go to. Location is important. If you want to be a part of a big city, you got to know that. If you're going to be in a small town, you want to know that. You do not want to pick a school you never have visited, because if you don't know what is around the school, you might not want to be at that school. And the key thing is, when you get on campus, you want to make sure you are comfortable and you feel like almost like home. So please understand that. Culture at every school is going to be totally different. You have, it's funny that we talk about culture because we have a lot of students that are in love with various things. So if you are a gamer, you want to find a school that has a gaming culture. If you are an indie rock band listen person, you want to find that school that has that good indie rock band culture around it, because that's what you're going to vibe to, that's what you connect with, and it's actually going to make your college experience a lot better. School climate, every school has a different kind of climate depending on where it's located and depending on their culture. So yes, you have your PWIs and you have your HBCUs. So that make that understanding of that climate, because it can be different and it can be something you want to maneuver in or not want to maneuver in. So please, when you do your college visits, hint, hint, ask questions of students and talk about the climate of the school. That's going to help you make that best fit for yourself. Also, diversity. When it's a PWI, you know, and it's okay that you're not one of the big numbers at the school, but an HBCU you are. But the lack of diversity on the other side could be that too. A melting pot of students is a great thing. So you have students from all around the world, different nationalities, different religions. Find your fit. Every school does not have the perfect diversity for you. So again, this goes back to cost, location, and culture, and school climate, and now you have your diversity. So before you step on campus, some things you definitely want to talk about with your parents, and also to maybe some advisors and some things that you just want to know. You want to know more about your major, how your major is going to help you with your years in college and also after college, and making sure you're right in the right profession. Identify your interests, know your values, know your passions, know your abilities. If you are not a strong math person, don't be upset that you're not in engineering. If you want to be a doctor but hate biology, that probably the doctor is not what you want to do. Or if you just need to get extra tutoring, make sure that tutoring option is available for you. These are things you want to know before and when you pick a major. Considering your 4 years after you graduate. So back in a while ago, being in hotel management was actually a great career. But as of right now, that is not the best career to be in. So think about 4 years from after you graduate, what is your career going to look like? If I was in coding, I would not know you all right now. I would be filthy rich. So these are the things you kind of want to know and prepare yourself. So understand those key things. Spot the disadvantages in your major before choosing it too. Again, like I talked about with coding, or with coding is a lot of work on yourself by yourself. You're not always with the team. Sometimes you're doing things alone. Hotel management, you got to know what's going to be happening in the future. Prepare 4 years from now. So talk to your parents, talk to the school, and then here's some key points. Talk to the academic advisor, and definitely have a relationship with the career center at your school, at the school you're choosing to go to. Those are great ways to kind of pick that major and actually prepare yourself for a long career after college. Give yourself time and ask for help. As a male, I know I didn't ask for help, but I know females do ask for help a lot more. So males, especially, ask for help. It is nothing wrong for asking for help. It will prepare you for asking for help in the future when it's time, when it's really needed. If you change your mind, don't be upset. It's okay to change your mind. It's no worries. But understand when you change your mind, depending on when you change it, you might have to have some extra years in school. So weigh your option is you have to change your mind when it comes to your major, but understanding that there's always ways around what you need to get around. There's always that gray area. So please have those questions prepared for your academic advisor and also maybe your dean of your college. Do a reality check at all points of time, but here is the best thing I could talk about within this session. Find a positive circle of friends. And when I say a circle, we're not talking about race, creed, color, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about positive friends that are going to actually want to get you to your goal. And that's what we have right now with College Bound St. Louis University. We have partnerships, and these partnerships actually help you all to grow and to be better students that we want you to be. And then also it brings you back to a place called St. Louis after your 4 years, wherever. So you're prepared to take on leadership when you come back to St. Louis. But it all starts with here, this partnership that we have with College Bound St. Louis University, but it starts with you starting that relationship with College Bound. So if somebody can check the chat, as students, if you have questions about this, I'm gonna start some key points, and you can definitely use the chat when it comes to the college life between HBCUs and PWIs. The reason is I brought this up because it's very important to know the differences. A HBCU within Missouri and an HBCU in Atlanta are two different things, but I'm gonna give you the blanket true opinion of my life between the HBCU and the PWI. Truth be told, HBCUs are like family. Everybody will get to know your name. The lunch lady will ask you about your grades. Your resident hall director will check you when needed. They will talk to you like an auntie, but prepare you for life. At a PWI, predominantly white institution, it's a little bit different. It's more about business, more about preparing for the next level, as well as getting friends around you that's on the same level. So I could speak on this a little bit, but I'm not going to get definitely deep into it. But I'm going to tell you one true difference of the two. And it's a little bit different, various parts, but I'm going to be honest. On a Sunday morning at a PWI, students are upset if the doors are not open at 10 o'clock. So that's one difference. At a HBCU on Sunday, I didn't get to the library personally until about 3 o'clock. So there is differences. I want to make sure you understand them, but still, even still, the thing is this: I graduated, and I think I had more experiences, and I can tell you the truth, I did, as a journalism student at Mizzou. So those are the two differences. I was in journalism major, and I got to be on the radio my freshman year. I made a movie my sophomore year. At Mizzou, to get into J school, it takes you 2 years to even get into the J school, depending on your grades coming in. So those are the things that we can definitely speak on. I think I have HBCUs take care of you like family. Yep, that is true. And you want to be out of Cecil Hampton. So understand, yes, Hampton's an excellent school, actually. Let me just say that up front. But understand, have you visited Hampton? Do you know the culture and all that kind of stuff? If you have family that have been to Hampton, because there's a lot of family from St. Louis that go to Hampton, ask questions. That's the key thing. Ask tons of questions, please. So networking in college is the most important thing you can do to actually move ahead. When you network, you actually learn how to do a pitch. That pitch could be 30 seconds, it could be a minute, it could be an elevator pitch. But those pitches are very important because you come across a lot of different people within your life. When it comes to sports, when it comes to business, when it comes to, what's going on in my neighborhood today. Those are the things you want to be involved in. So when you pick your college, understand you got to be involved in some things. So even if it's a fraternity, if it's a sorority, I can go on and on about days, but be involved when it comes to college. If you're not involved, I guarantee you 100% you will not have fun in college. But also, if you're not involved, you might not get that job you want. So I'm giving you a great example. You can go to Harvard University today, right? And your friend go to Harris Stowe today. You could be a 4.0 student at Harvard and not be involved in anything, but your friend that went to Harris Stowe, They were involved with the King's Court. They were a SGA president. They were assistant to the president, or they worked in the mission, so they got to meet other people. That person that did all those three things at Harris Stowe will be looked on top of that person that went to Harvard and just got a 4.0 GPA. Because this person that went to Harris Stowe, at the end of the day, can work with people, can think outside the box, as well as prepare themselves in an environment that they're not used to. So those are the three things I know about that student that went to Harris Stowe. So please understand, networking is very important. If you think you are a person that doesn't like to talk to people, find ways to communicate. I don't know how, this is not my session about communication right now, but at this moment, College Bound can help you do this. I've seen it happen before when I worked with them and they came on our campus. So I hope in the future they will come on our campus again. So there you go. Yes. So here's the biggest thing I need to explain to you. As a student, if you do not study abroad, part of your college experience was nothing. And I'm not saying you have to study abroad, but it's important to have that option, because once you study abroad, you conquered the world just a little bit. It's more important to have your passport at 18 than a car, because your passport can actually get you around the world. Your car can get you down the street, but it might break down. That passport is not going to break down. So having your passport at 18 is 10 times more lucrative as a business person. If you're going to college, you got to think business, thinking about your money, is way more important than having a car. So if you're saying, I want a car for my freshman year, no, you want a passport, because that opportunity you don't know happens. I had a student that went to Lincoln University. She was in her Mandarin classes and she learned Mandarin very well. Lincoln University gave her a scholarship to go to China. She had a passport and was ready to go. She did not have a car, but she had a passport. So ladies and gentlemen, parents, if you can do anything for your student, having that passport for them is more important, as well as it closes those boundaries of the world to them, and it opens their mind up to more about what the world has to offer, and not just St. Louis, not just their college, not just the United States. The world is a huge place, but to make it a little bit smaller at a younger age between college, you can definitely have those experiences. It doesn't have to be a full semester. It could be 8 weeks. It could be just a summer. So please, having that study abroad access is very, very important. And I am done, because I know my time was short. So any other questions before I walk out of here?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mr. Wilson.
No problem.
Don't forget, all of this starts with finding the right high school, making sure you are really prepared for the rigor, that you have all of your prerequisites in order, that you can take the math and science classes that you need to be successful, that you built the mentoring relationships and the other relationships needed to get letters of recommendations for scholarships, that you are on sports teams where you can gain skills that are going to make you, or clubs or anything else, that where you're going to gain those leadership skills that are going to make you stand out in the applicant pool. Everything works together, and all of it starts with finding the right high school. So don't forget to check out navigatestlschools.org so that you can schedule a free appointment with the school navigator to learn about all of your options and how to advocate for yourself throughout the process. Don't forget to check out College Bound so that they can help link you with different supports as you move through the process. And our last giveaway is a $100 Amazon gift card. And it is for the person who can name the 3 A's as well as 3 presenters from today. So what are our straight A's and the names of 3 presenters from today? We'll give you a couple minutes as you guys are going to put that in the chat. And Amehi, you want to wrap us up?
Yes, I will. So like Mr. Wilson said, ask for help. Don't be afraid of it. Like Ms. Allen said herself as well, those are all the beginning processes. And it helps with asking for help. We want to thank you all for your time today. We want to thank our amazing presenters for sharing their expertise, experience, and knowledge with us. We hope that this is just the beginning of our relationship with many of you. If you're interested in meeting with a navigator like Miss Allen from the amazing Navigate STL Schools, please go to their website at www.navigatestlschools.org to sign up with a navigator. If you're interested in learning more about College Bound, please visit our website at collegeboundstl.org. Both links are in the chat. This is our first time doing this event, and we would love to hear from you about the thoughts. We'd love to hear from you and your thoughts about the event. After the event closes, a survey will pop up. We will also drop that link in the chat as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. And we wanted to try to finish early so that we can give you guys back the rest of this beautiful spring day here in St. Louis. Thank you guys for your participation. NavigateSTLschools.org, collegeboundstl.org. Super excited to be of support for you. And again, this presentation will be available on YouTube and on Facebook to share out. And we'll be touching base with all of the people who attended today as we move forward throughout the summer and the next school year. Thank you guys so much for all of your support, and enjoy the rest of your day. We have the answers in the chat for our giveaways, and make sure that you also drop your mailing addresses as well as your email addresses before you leave the presentation today so that we can get everything mailed out to those who have entered their answers. Thank you guys so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.